What's the biggest plot hole you've seen in a movie? The stigmata scene in The Butterfly Effect, where Ashton Kutcher goes back and impales his hands so that the dude in prison will help him. It completely undermines the entire premise of the movie. Not only would he have had the scars on his hands the entire time, he probably wouldn't even be in the same situation to begin with. Everything would be different if he changed something in the past. That's the whole point of the film The Butterfly Effect. That whole movie has major issues. Good idea but not great execution. Waterworld, why were they all so dirty? Paper is so precious some people wonder if it even exists. Everyone is smoking cigarettes. Also, paper is so easy to make. Just chop down a bunch of trees and oh. Any post-apocalypse movie. The lawns are always mowed. Nobody's going to be mowing their lawn and the lawn of all their dead neighbors after the shit hits the fan. HOA fees are no joke. Oh my god, they're here. The zombies. Worse, the HOA. Batman Begins. So Scarecrow puts his fear toxin in the water supply of Gotham City, but it doesn't become active until it is evaporated. Now I love this movie, but I find it hard to believe that nobody took a hot shower or boiled water or something and then went crazy from the fear gas. Here's the part that always gets me. When the microwave emitter is activated to evaporate the city water supply, why doesn't it evaporate the water in the citizens' bodies as well? I got the impression that the microwave emitter only fired its beams in one direction. What did One Direction do to you? Created music. Mostly I try not to notice, and just think about them later, you know, and then try to find the excuse. One that bothers me that in such a future depicted in the Minority Report, he cruises, thank you, right back into this supposed high-security facility after having gone rogue using his original credentials. Sloppy. Yes, rewatched that recently. He gets new eyeballs, takes some crazy make-me-an-old-man injection but his keycard is still authorized? And even if it didn't alert everyone that he just used it. Management failing to notify IT when they fire someone, so the accounts aren't properly locked? Seems pretty realistic to me. In the not-too-distant future IT still won't process your request unless you submit a help ticket to the functional mailbox. Absolutely 100% happens all the damn time. IT will find out 6 months later. There was no reason for Mother Gothel to tell Rapunzel when her birthday was. Hell, there was no reason for Rapunzel to even know what a birthday is in the first place. Even though she kidnapped Rapunzel and exploited her, I always thought Mother Gothel still felt some genuine affection for her. Rapunzel's escape plan hinged on Mother Gothel going on a rather inconvenient errand just to make Rapunzel happy. Yet, she definitely did care, in a creepy, narcissistic sort of way. Doing this for Rapunzel will give me good mother points, and if she disobeys me I can remind her how good a mother I am to her. Yet, terrible as Gothel is, she's still a person. She needs affection, and if that means being the best mother she can be, which by real-life standards is the worst mother most people could possibly think of, then that's what she'll do. But that's not really the case. She's manipulating Rapunzel to keep her in the tower. It's never about affection, it's about control. A very subtle way they show this is through the loving interactions between the two. Every pet name is related to Rapunzel's magic hair, she only kisses Rapunzel on her hair, etc. Everything she does is to make Rapunzel stay, and it's easier to make her stay if she's happy. In the middle of a worldwide pandemic, with a high morbidity rate, who exactly built a city-size maze so that a bunch of teenagers can figure out how to escape it? I like to think that imprisoning teenagers in a city-sized maze was the plan all along, and then this pandemic came along. This genuinely made me laugh. Another day, another movie relying on every single person to have read the book beforehand. As a parent of 2 teenagers, I find this not only plausible, but appealing. The Dauntless faction in Divergent. This faction basically serves as the city's police force. They train their new recruits by having them jump out of moving trains, leaping off of buildings, and beating each other up. They also don't have guardrails in their underground facility. In the book, it's noted that the faction's leader is only 18 years old. How on earth is this sustainable? It's a wonder more of their new recruits don't wind up dead. Even for a dystopia, it's absurd. That whole series is terrible. I read the first book and liked it all right. The second book just turns into a steaming pile. It reads like someone's erotic diary but with worse syntax. And the third one is as confusing AF. I didn't make it to the third. I was in physical pain reading the second book and threw it in a trash can. So call me biased. In Aquaman, they are in the middle of the Sahara Desert, with no way out. And in the next scene, they are in Italy. How? Even worse, when getting to the desert, Aquaman and Mera jump out of a plane without parachutes, and are uninjured. In Italy, they are mortally concerned about falling off the buildings. If you can jump out of a plane, you can drop off a building, no problem. To that point. Every single superhero movie ever where someone uses anything to hit the other person. Our world is literally tissue paper to Superman, any other Kryptonian, Thor, Hulk, etc. So why pick up a car and hit them with it? Or throw them against the ground? It's like living in a cotton ball world and trying to beat someone up by throwing them really hard against the cotton ball buildings. If it ain't a punch from the super-powered being, it ain't gonna stop them. Rule of cool. If it looks awesome, do it. The Little Mermaid signing a contract and losing her voice due she couldn't communicate with Prince Eric. Write him a damn note, you have flawless writing and you composed a damn song with a full aquatic orchestra. Maybe she only wrote in the mermaid language. We hear/read everything as a translation. She can speak English at the end because magic. IDK. A throwaway scene where she leaves him a note, only for him to laugh at her pretty drawings would have closed this plot hole solidly. That would have been so fucking funny. Sebastian leans in and asks if she's absolutely positive about this beautiful idiot. Ariel has a moment where she looks at him and Real isn't anymore. But then Eric says he can't wait to take her on a tour of the kingdom, she gets excited about the human world again, and the movie continues as normal. Disney just used your idea in the live-action remake. Titanic. Back in those days there's no way would Jack been allowed access to the top deck of the ship because he's in third class. But he's a bad boy and he doesn't follow rules and he gets what he wants. I don't have such a big problem with this. Something the movie has a hard time portraying is exactly how skewed the crew to passenger ratio was. In terms of actual sailing crew, there were 30 able seamen. To sail a ship with a maximal capacity of a couple thousand. The vast majority of the crew were serving staff who, though they might have seen Jack, would probably be too busy with their duties/know their proper place and would be too passive to approach him directly and ask him to leave. Are you kidding? Some Karen that paid extra for first class would rat him out in an instant to anyone that would listen until they took care of it. The passengers. Not being able to go back into hibernation is what the whole plot relies on and is a massive design flaw for an interstellar ship. It means they have no contingency plan for any unexpected events and the crew are basically redundant. Chief Engineer, so we've managed to make a ship that can travel for 90 years with 99.9% certainty of nothing breaking down, but the journey is 120 years. After 90 years, there'll be problems that require human intervention to fix. It'll triple the cost to extend the autonomy to 120 years. CEO, just program a couple of the sleeper berths to wake up at 90 years. Why do you geeks always look for the hard solutions? That Jurassic World movie where they came up with the raptor that can hunt people. So you use a laser pointer on a gun to designate a target. But if you can shine a laser on someone, surely you can shoot them? Like why need the dino? I really hate that they went with that premise. Attack dinosaurs is like something out of a bad 80s action movie. We have drones with pinpoint accurate missiles and their use is a major ethical debate. Can you imagine just dumping off a bunch of raptors in a war zone? You better win that war or your ass is on its way to Nuremberg. Plus you have to feed them, train them, care for them, can't just store it in a hangar, it makes no sense. Evil mastermind, but I don't want drones. I want dinosaurs. With freaking lashers on their freaking heads. It bothered me in a quiet place that newspapers were printing en masse that the creatures were sensitive to noise. Newspaper printers are loud AF. You can't use the white noise excuse BC they weren't always on, like a waterfall. Also how were they not all trapped in a giant noisy trap then captured and or killed before they got out of hand? Or make a nice ass, well-stocked cellar for your precious newborn that is protected by a single mattress to cover the opening. Or why not just surround your property with speakers that constantly play white noise to mask your sounds? Or just live closer to the stupid waterfall. Or set up a super loud sound trap that lures all the aliens to one place while everyone else escapes. I don't think any of the science or math in Ant-Man checks out. How the hell is the car the same speed when it's a tiny car, as it was when it was a big car? How are they able to shrink that building down, and then carry it around effortlessly? Does density not apply? There's so much more that didn't make sense. I thought the science not adding up is because Hank Pym has no clue how Pym particles work. Pym particles use the rule of cool. I always upvote TV tropes links. The Age of the Beast and Beauty and the Beast. How did Disney not catch it? The flower lasts until his 21st birthday. The candle says they've been rusting for 10 years. That bitch cursed an entire castle's worth of people because an 11-year-old was selfish or superficial or whatever it was. He would have been in elementary school. She cursed an 11-year-old boy who was home alone in a storm and knew better than to let a stranger into his castle. Good point. But on the other hand, no one said it was a good witch. Saw. Why didn't he just use the saw to get the phone that was just barely out of reach instead of cutting off his fucking foot? That and the fact that the pipes they're chained to look well and rusty enough to be able to saw through them with ease. Jigsaw, no, please. Don't cut the pipe. Come on, I worked hard on this. Stop. Please just cut your foot off. Come on, bro, it gets so cool after that, I promise. It's like when people try to leave an escape room by busting down a door. It's rude, god damn it. How about you be a human being for 10 seconds and saw your damn foot off? Jeez.